So it looks like the new variants that were on the CTE a couple months back, along with the Thompson Annihilator, are finally here in vanilla Battlefield 1, along with the two new melee weapons as well, the Welsh Blade and the Sickle. Fortunately, the new variants that were added today are instantly unlocked for every player of Battlefield 1, even if you do not own the Premium Pass or the corresponding DLC for each weapon. As you can see here, thanks to Westie using a trial account of Battlefield 1 using no DLC or Premium, he has access to all the new weapons in this update, which is all great news to hear. Of these variants, these are the Sjogren Inertial Slug, the Ribberolls 1918 Optical, the Machine Pistol P16 Experimental, the M1917 Patrol Carbine, the Type 38 Arasaka Patrol, the Carcano M91 Patrol Carbine, the Ross Mark III Infantry, the M1917 Enfield Silenced, and along with the Welsh Blade and the Sickle. And to add to that list, we have the Thompson Annihilator. But the Thompson still has an unlock assignment requiring 100 primary weapon kills as the Assault class and 25 pistol kills as the Assault class, along with the Sickle requiring 5 kills with the Welsh Blade. Overall, these are fairly easy assignments and will be unlocked naturally if you just play the game. But one of the big changes are those made to the Scout class. As you know already, the Scout class sniper rifles have scope glint and, depending on the rifle, a sweet spot. For the majority of Battlefield 1's lifecycle, these features have always been there, but they have never been communicated properly. Now with these changes, you'll be able to counter snipers more effectively, and in turn, snipers are now able to use their sweet spot more effectively as well. Now for the Scout player, your scope will blur out all objects outside of your sweet spot range, and everything within it will be clear. Holding your breath will get rid of the blur, allowing you to place more accurate shots, as likely you'll be aiming for the head. Now this blur, or depth of field, will be applied to all scopes in the Scout class. This includes the Patrol, Marksman, and Sniper variants. Even snipers without a sweet spot will have this depth of field as well, but only for areas outside of their effective range. But this option, thankfully, is off by default, and if you want this depth of field, you'll need to head over to the video section of Battlefield 1 and enable it there. Now for opposing soldiers or anyone not running Scout, you now have some more information to counter Scout players. If you are within a Scout's sweet spot range, their scope glint will change to a rainbow color lens flare. Aside from the sniper variants, this lens flare is also applied to both the Marksman and Patrol variants. Now the reason for this is, considering that these scopes provide sufficient magnifying power for ranged engagements, adding glints provides Scout opponents a better chance to survive the encounter. Let me know what you think of that. As for snipers without a scope glint, like the Gewehr M95 or the Carcano, the Marksman and Patrol variants of those weapons will now have a standard scope glint across all ranges, due to their lack of sweet spot. Other variants using optics or iron sights will naturally have no scope glint. If you want to see the full list of Scout rifles and whether or not they have a sweet spot or scope glint, you can either pause this video right now or click the link in the description to see the full list in all of its detail. Now that about wraps up all the major changes in this update, and all that's left are some bug fixes. Some performance improvements were made to the game, for example on Passchendaele to improve the frame rate spikes when spawning. A heat and cooldown meter has been added for the flamethrower in the HUD, and a nerf to the heavy bomber has been made as well. A minor nerf, but a nerf nonetheless. DICE has lengthened the reload time of the cluster bombs from 3 to 10 seconds, and their payload is now distributed more evenly now. As before, they will cross over into one another, dealing more damage than originally intended. And lastly, 10 new soldier ranks have been added, making the max rank now level 150. But that about wraps up today's rundown of Battlefield 1 news. If you want to see the patch notes in their entirety, I'll leave a link to the notes in the description below. Let me know what you guys think of these new additions and changes, and as always, it's been BloodHound, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.